It'll be third paragraph in.
Third paragraph in. All right, yeah, I'll get the vibe. I'll know when to do
Yeah, you will. I'm just gonna
it.
lead you right into it.
Steven put Tommy Herp and get home so the time doesn't keep going up.
All right, here we go.
Right.
Just two teams have clinched the BLW playoffs with one last event remaining on the regular season schedule. The eyes of the wiffle ball world will be fixed on Texas as 17 teams all try their hand at stopping the Los Angeles Naturals from sweeping the BLW schedule. Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the final pool play draw show for BLW Big League Wiffle Ball as we bring to you the matchups for the upcoming BLW Lone Star Showdown at Frisco Rough Riders Ballpark in Frisco, Texas, in what is to be the most important regular season tournament in deciding the fate of the last remaining playoff spots for the 25-26 season. My name is Sam Skibby, and I am joined tonight by one of the most loved whifflers in the country right now, Mr. Tommy Hernandez. Tommy, Texas, here we come. Can I get your best yeehaw?
Yeah. What's up, Sam? I am so excited to be here and getting ready for Texas. I am so excited that we get to go to Texas and get to show off all of the skills that all these teams have out in Texas. I've never been, and now God has brought me there through this opportunity, and let's do it.
I love it. Love that you're getting to experience a new state, and we all love the background that you're displaying right now on the screen as well. And Tommy,
Hey,
thank you so much for joining tonight. Let's talk about the previous event first in Los Angeles real quick. Obviously, the biggest storyline was the Naturals three-peating in their home city. But in bigger news, in my opinion, the standings took a huge flip. Two teams rose
mm.
into the top six, and two teams fell out of the top six. Talk to our viewers about timing of success in a format like BLW and just how important is it to peak or get hot at the right time for a team?
Oh, especially with how close these standings are, it's huge. You saw the Green Apples where they went from like a bottom of the standings, bottom of the top six, to now they're up in the top, known as a team that looks like they're how everyone predicted them to be. You have the Pandas, the past two tournaments coming out hot, showing how good they are. And so it's just huge. And it's a great opportunity. And for teams that are struggling, like there's a couple teams, like I'll say my team, you have the Harbor Hawks, who didn't play up to their standards, where it's like, how are they going to come out in Texas? Are they feeling that momentum losing? Or are they going to take this new momentum and hopefully ride it into the World Series? It's going to be exciting, and I can't wait.
Absolutely. And with the final tournament approaching this weekend in Texas, it is not too early to start thinking about BLW playoffs. Right around the corner, back in Scottsdale, Arizona, March 22nd through the 24th. Playoffs will be all day on March 22nd, followed by the All-Star Game and Home Run Derby on the 23rd, leading to that pinnacle event, the World Series matchup for two lucky teams looking to claim the title. Tickets are on sale where you can take in a Major League Baseball spring training game, then follow it up with a championship matchup. It will be an event you won't want to miss. There are
Mm.
only two playoff spots locked up, Naturals and Saguaros. Every team will have to be at their best to put them in the possible position for that playoff berth remaining. Let's take a look at the point standings heading into the regular season finale tournament in Texas. Obviously, at the top of our list, you have the LA Naturals, 30
Valiant and
perfect
Casey
points,
Thompson is the team
three
owner.
tournament
On
wins.
the
They have
bench is
stayed
the
at that one spot
Valiant,
the
the home
entire
team, the Los
time.
Angeles
Followed by
Naturals.
the Arizona team, the
Ladies and
Saguaros,
gentlemen, we ask
17
that you
points,
please
two
welcome
semifinal
our
losses, and a
national
finals loss. So they have been in the thick of it throughout the entire time in this regular season. Like you mentioned, Tommy, the New York Green Apples jumping up from the seventh spot all the way to the third spot. 13 points. They just lost in the finals back in LA. And then they had back-to-back first-round exits. So it was indeed an important tournament for them last time. The Las Vegas Scorpions, 11 points. They have a semifinal loss and two first-round exits. They stayed at the four spot. No movement for them. They've stayed consistent there. Boston Harbor Hawks down two spots, had a finals loss, first-round exit, and then last tournament, no playoffs. A big loss for them. Dallas, as you said, no playoffs the first time, and then a semifinal loss and a first-round exit, moving up two spots in the rankings. Your team, the Miami Mirage, at 8 points, also with that Dallas team, with a semifinal loss, a first-round exit, and no playoffs, down two spots from last tournament as well. Chicago Bats, they have back-to-back first-round exits and they have a no playoff. So they're down 2 spots too. Philadelphia and San Diego at the bottom with 3 points. First round exit and 2 no playoffs for both of those teams. Philadelphia and San Diego kind of tied for that final spot. But Tommy, some big news for this tournament, though, doesn't just stop with the race for the remaining 8 pro teams fighting for 4 more playoff spots, but we will have 8 challenger teams joining the party in
Mm.
Frisco who will also be fighting for 2 more spots in this year's playoffs. That means this will be the largest tournament to date for the pro division with 18 total teams. Quick announcement with that 18 teams. It was been sent out to all of those pro teams from league management. With there being so many teams and a time limit on the tournament, games will be moving quickly to the next slate in that hour time slot. So we're asking that everyone please warm up before the games begin. Starting pitchers, please warm up before the game off to the side. Then a couple warm up pitches to start before commencing the game. Please move fast. There should be no hitting on the fields pre-game. Let's get back to the challenger teams. Tommy, none of these teams will be a walk in the park, and every single one of these 8 teams could make a case for being in the top of the pro standings. What's a mindset for a team like yours in the Mirage, who are 1 spot away from being in the playoffs, knowing that no matter who you draw today, it's going to be a battle for your team's postseason hopes?
It's all about the competitiveness. And so something I love about my team is the fire. We have Cam, we have Braden, we have Jeremy, Jackson, Gabe, all fiery and ready to go. And so it's just going to take us a step at a time and a bat at a time, a pitch at a time. Instead of trying to, I think last tournament, especially myself, just overthinking like, oh, I got to do this big moment. No, no, no. Pitch at a time, a step at a time. Oh, a walk will get us there. A strikeout's going to get us a step closer. A good play on defense, good, nice double. And it's just each pitch at a time, taking a breath and enjoying the game of Wiffle and having fun competing. And that's the big step we want to take as a team.
I agree. When you have fun, good things happen. Just got to keep the
Yes.
vibes positive, and that's what you're best at, Tommy. So keep it going when we get to Texas. All
God is
right.
good. God is
The
good.
Las Vegas Whifflers are back for their second tournament. And if, in my opinion, if they make it through the pool play round, you got to believe they lock in one of those challenger playoff spots. That's all they really have to do, especially making it to the semifinals in past tournament. As for that second spot, I could see a team like the Meats or On the Rise, who are making their second appearance, also find a playoff berth if they can make it past pool play round as well. Neither team did that in Chicago, but if they do that this time around with it being their second tournament, I could see it happening. But there are experienced teams coming, like the Whiskey Ducks, Punishment, who are actually going to go on the name Gamecocks for this one because they've added Caleb Jeter and Ben Doolin. And then you
I
have the
love
team
it.
like the Process and C4 doing a mashup tournament team that they have coming as well. Any team could make a run like Las Vegas did in LA and punch their ticket as well. It's going to be wild. This is going to be as close to gunslinging in Texas as we have ever seen in our sport. Tommy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which 2 challenger teams are your prediction to make it to the BLW playoffs?
Ooh, this is a good question. I've been thinking about this one because there's so many good teams out there. Vegas, of course, has to get a shout out. Vegas made it to the semifinal, and I don't know if this has been kind of told yet. They added James Lee, so James Lee is on their roster now, and so now they have a solid 5 with extra
Yeah.
arms, and that's just such a huge addition to that offensive focused team who now has the pitching depth that they've already had, but now helps out saving Steve's arm and Jordan's arm a little more. And James is just such a fun
Yeah.
guy to have around in the wiffle ball world. And um, dude, it's tough. I'm pulling like it's between On the Rise and Punishment for me because
Yeah.
Caleb Jeter and Ben Doolin
Yeah.
adding to that Punishment roster who play with so much energy and fire. That's just such. I can't wait to watch them. And then also that On the Rise team, so much young talent. And then they're adding Jeff Lopes. Oh, like
Yeah.
it's just such a good. Oh, it's just such a good. I'm so excited. But I think I have to give it to Las Vegas because they've shown us before the possibility, and I'm gonna give it to I got to give it to Punishment because they also
Yeah.
have some veteran talent there. So, and I know Doolin and Jeter have also a little more veteran than On the Rise, but it's a close second between those two.
Yeah, and you make that mention of James Lee joining the Las Vegas Whifflers, and he was on the O Bombers. And as it sits, the O Bombers are also in the playoffs technically because they're the only team that has made it.
Yeah, they
Now,
are.
That brings up an interesting point, Tommy, because what if no challenger teams make it this time around, and then you have the O-Bombers and Las Vegas Wifflers? Which team does James Lee go to? I don't know. It might be an
It's a good
interesting
point.
offseason thing coming into March, but that's something that we'll deal with when we get there. The last thing we wanted to make mention of is BLW is already prepping for the next upcoming season this summer, and anyone listening is invited to sign up for the inaugural BLW draft. You know a Wiffler from any corner of the country with big dreams of playing big league wiffle ball? Make sure they sign up before March 1st deadline for a chance to be drafted by one of our 10 BLW franchises. Tommy, that is enough jabbering from us. Now for the reason you are all here. Pull up your bootstraps, shine that belt buckle, grab that Texas barbecue. The live scheduled draw show starts now. Here's how this will work, Tommy. Behind the scenes, we have Commissioner Logan Rose, who will draw and then reveal a matchup one at a time in order until we have an entire time slot slate. Tommy, you and I will break down each matchup as they come up quickly, and then we're going to highlight a game every 2 time slots. So with 6 time
Okay.
slots in there, we'll kind of highlight a game and we'll talk about it. Tommy, are you ready?
I am so ready. Let's get down. Let's get down the hoedown. Let's get to line dance. Let's do this.
And I know Logan's ready behind the scenes. And fans, here we go. We thank you for joining us on this live stream. The first matchup for the Lone Star Showdown will be the Las Vegas Scorpions versus On the Rise, Tommy. That's a
Whoa.
huge first matchup in this 9 a.m. start here. The Scorpions versus On the Rise. You know a lot of these guys, Tommy. Talk about just, we're starting off with a bang here.
Young, that's just all young around talent. It's some of the top wiffle ballers at this, just some of the top young wiffle ballers. So I can't wait to see that. I wonder what the pitching matchup is going to be. And I think that's the biggest question. Are they going to go with a big pitch? Like, are they going to go to Lope soon and go because Scorpion's offense is so good? Or are they going to try to play it safe and see if they can go with one of their other arms they have on their team from both sides?
Yeah, and obviously in the Scorpions on the other side of things, they're at 11 points. Like you could think that,
Mm,
hey, we're set, we're in that top four, but if they don't make it, there's some teams that can jump. There's only 2 teams safe in all of these pro teams, so you can't take it lightly. And On the Rise is a team you can't take lightly. They did not make it in
no.
Chicago, but it's a brand new tournament in Dallas with a brand new loaded roster for this On the Rise team. All right, brings us to our second matchup in this first slate of games, and we have a pro versus pro matchup, the Boston Harbor Hawks versus the San Diego Orcas. Tommy, both of these teams are fighting. The Orcas and Philly pretty much have to win this tournament. I mean, they can go to semis and lose possibly, but they have to make a deep run. And Boston Harbor Hawks coming off of a no playoffs. Talk about both these teams. It's going to be an important first game for both of them.
So we got the Orcas and the Harbor Hawks.
Correct.
This is a big rematch from actually the first tournament. They actually faced each other first in Arizona. So I'm kind of excited to see the Orcas have developed a lot.
Yeah.
And you can see the growth they've had. And you can see the Harbor Hawks, they still got their veteran lineup. So I'm interested to see if that momentum that the Orcas have can overtake the Harbor Hawks, or the Harbor Hawks are going to come out swinging with that heavy offense that they have that can just take over a game instantly.
Absolutely. And the Harbor Hawks, they're kind of teetering on the edge there. They really want to get points. They want to not miss the playoffs again. So they're going to come out firing because they just want to make the playoffs and see what's going to happen. But like you said, the Orcas continuing to improve and get better tournament after tournament. And they're one of the more fun teams to watch right now. Absolutely. All right. That brings us to our third game in the first slate. And we have the Dallas Pandas versus the Buffaloes. And the Buffaloes, for the roster for the Buffaloes, we haven't mentioned them yet. It's a lot of Missouri guys. So you have Pat Ballman making his debut with BLW, along with Zach Gunn, Quentin Meyer, and then the Wilkersons, Colin and Tom. Definitely have some experience. For Dallas, this is, an interesting matchup because are you going to get a Pat Ballman or a Colin Wilkerson who played shutdown ball at UWIF? So, and you've seen them play, Tommy. You've been on their team before, this squad. You know a lot of these players. Talk about this matchup.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. You got Brody Livingston, who is Missouri through and through against his buddies now. And it's just going to be such a fun matchup. I'm excited to see who the Buffaloes pitch and to see what they do. And I'm interested to see is the Pandas going to throw out Brody, even though the Missouri guys know Brody. And
Yeah.
the Pandas are right neck and neck with us. So each game matters, and it's a big momentum for whoever wins that first game for those teams.
Yeah, you could argue that, depending on who Dallas gets the rest of the way, they might want to jump on a challenger team. But like you said,
Yes.
all these players have played Brody. They know him. There's Quentin Meyer just played Brody in the semifinals of the MoWiff playoffs last time. So, I mean, I feel like there's these teams that have gotten used to seeing Brody too. So the Dallas Pandas have a very interesting decision on their hands indeed. All right, let's move on to the next game in the slate. Fourth game, we have another one. Two pro teams facing off. The Arizona Saguaros versus the Los Angeles Naturals.
Oh,
Tommy,
my
this is almost like, I hate to say it, it's a marquee matchup, but it's almost like this game doesn't matter because they're both at the top of the standings and they've already clinched.
I would love to see I would just love to see such a fun game out of this. Like I really hope to see Lede pitch this game. He looked great in
Yeah,
Los Angeles, and each time he comes back from a tournament, he looks in better shape and better shape.
yeah,
So I
he
can't wait to
does.
see him have a six pack this tournament and just throwing 85 miles an hour down, like just and I'm can't wait to see who the Naturals pitch. Is it going to
Yeah.
be Vin, or are they going to throw out maybe Jordan to see like? So this is going to be a fun matchup. It's going to be. I just hope there's smiles on faces in this one because it's just
Yeah,
going to be a good, talented wiffle ball game.
and honestly, both these teams, if they're on the live draw now, they're probably smiling like, wow, this game just really doesn't matter. Like both these teams could come out
Yes.
and throw their number five arms and have some fun here just to see what would happen because both these teams have clinched. But with fan cash on the line, and both these teams are so competitive that they're going to make this a fantastic game. You could see this go in the distance, 0-0 tie even. And we also are forgetting this is the debut of Cooper Ruckle, Tommy, and you know
Oh,
that they're
you're
wanting
right.
to kind of get his feet wet before playoffs. They've already clinched, and they don't have Nick Martinez this time around, so they want to make sure they get those bats hot early against this Los Angeles Naturals team. So exciting first matchup, and this slate is turning into a dogfight across the board. And the next matchup coming up is no different, Tommy. The next matchup is two challenger
Oh,
teams, but it's anything but that because it's the Meats versus the Las Vegas Whifflers. I mean,
oh.
this is two perennial top eight UF teams. This is two perennial teams that are going to go at it here. The Meats have a smaller roster, and obviously Las Vegas Whifflers, you said adding James Lee, but I mean, this is going to be almost one of the more favorite matchups of this slate, considering what's the lineup so far.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good. Just so much veteran talent with also so much young talent with Kayvon and Jordan Bonet. So this is gonna be one I'm gonna look out for because I am a nerd for wiffle ball. I remember watching you, Sam, play for the Cardinals and all the different teams you played for. So I can't wait to just see these two powerhouse teams go against each other. And like I said, like it's just good to see all this talent in one area playing these first games of the day. I'd love to see it's going to be a high pitching game or offense. So I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like.
And sometimes people want to get to the fields right away. They want to get playing,
Mm.
and you and I did not get selected in that first slate, so we're coming up in this second slate for these first five games in the slate, and it's going to be so fun to watch, right? It's going to be fun to get to the
Yes.
fields early while we're warming up, seeing all these great games, and that meets Las Vegas Whifflers game. The Las Vegas Whifflers pretty much have already somewhat punched their ticket. Obviously, a lot of things could still happen, but they're in the lead to punch their ticket into the playoffs. But the Meats, they want to get that game. Like this is not a matchup I don't think the Meats wanted this early on. So it's going to be interesting to see what the pitching matchup is going to be early. And with Caleb Yonkman coming, you could see him going out and just firing really fast, really quickly for this Meats team.
I'm excited. And it's three guys on the meets, right? Just
Yeah,
they have a
just
3 man.
three.
And I think that's a kind of a huge advantage. Something really special about the meets is all of them can hit. So
Oh
having
yeah,
a 3 man lineup with those three with Kayvon, Caleb Yonkman, and I think it's the
Jimmy Cole.
Jimmy, and then of course Jimmy Cole. And so that's just a good three
Yeah.
man hitting lineup. And so I'm kind of excited to see what that offense can bring throughout the day.
Yeah, that offense is absolutely loaded, from those three, and I feel like they might add a fourth player if they get to that playoffs eventually. But for those three to be facing off, obviously Ryan Bush not in attendance, but yeah, Kayvon is a beast, Jimmy Cole a beast, Caleb Youngman a beast, but you can't count out the Las Vegas Wifflers, who are one of the most
You
successful
can.
franchises in history of wiffle ball. All right, that is slate one, Tommy. Let's get to slate number two, the 10 a.m. games. Remember, we're not going to have a lot of warm up time in between, but let's get to the first 10 a.m. game. And it is my New York Green Apples facing off against the Philadelphia Wiffle
Ooh.
Club. And Tommy, we have never faced each other. This is one of those fun matchups that two pro teams going at it that have never played each other. Philly needs to find success this tournament. They need to continue that success. You know you're going to get Josh Wheeler or Spencer Foss early because they want to make it to the dance. And then you have the Green Apples who are coming for the first time ever with an entire roster. So, Philly, New York Green Apples, talk to me about the first matchup in slate number two.
So I'm excited about this matchup because I think this is both of your guys playing at the highest strength, but also it's familiarity. Like there's Missouri guys on Philadelphia and the Green Apples. There's guys who play NWLA that
Yeah,
are
both.
both
Yeah.
that are facing each other. Skibby and the Skull Crushers have faced each other, I don't know, countless times in NWLAT. So I'm excited for this matchup of the combination of clean ball guys and cut ball guys. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see who they go with for the Philadelphia Wiffle Ball Club. Will they go with a clean ball guy like Spencer Foss, who's been having a lot of success, or will they maybe mix it up and go insane with Josh Wheeler to try to see if they can get a
Yeah.
quick win out of their ace? But who knows? Having the full lineup for the Green Apples is so huge for you guys because now you got full strength of hitting and pitching. Will Smithy is such a big add-on to you guys because you guys are
Yeah.
already hitting so well in LA. Now you add another huge bat. So I'm really excited for this matchup.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Philly Wiffle Club obviously has done very well, been successful with the clean ball, but this may be the one team you don't want to throw clean ball to. So it's going to be interesting to
Mm.
see what Philly decides to go with. Do they, fight fire with fire and just go for it? Have a Dom Satrowski or a Spencer Foss pitch, or like you said, do they go Wheeler early? But I don't know if this is the matchup they wanted first out of the gate to make that decision to have to go Wheeler this early, but it's up to Philly Wiffle Club now to figure that out. All right, here we go. The next game in the second slate is indeed your Miami Mirage versus Punishment. So the team you've been talking about, the team Punishment, the Gamecock says they're going to be called this time around. We're pulling up Punishment because that's the main part of the roster. But with Caleb Jeter and Ben Doolin, obviously you know these guys. Cam Smith, friends with these guys as well. Ben Doolin and Cam are on the same Bombers team in MoWIF. So talk to me, Tommy, about this matchup and your first game going into Punishment.
I was on the phone with Caleb Jeter for almost an hour, I think over an hour recently, and we were just talking about how excited we were. And I was like, if we get game one together, it's going to be a good matchup. And look what God did. God brought us together. Game one. I'm super excited. I hope my boy Braden's ready to go out and do his thing, and it's going to be a good day. I'm just happy to play these guys. I haven't got to play Punishment or against
Yeah.
Ben and Caleb yet, so I'm actually really excited about this matchup. Is that the one we wanted for game one? Maybe not, but I'm excited. It's going to be great. That's what Wiffle is all about, is playing the best, especially in
Well,
BLW. So I'm excited.
and they say about sharpening iron, right? So you want to make sure you're
Yes.
getting that you're getting battle tested early for yourselves, either team, right? Punishment or Mirage. Like this is going to be a tough game, and you could see this going a 0-0 tie if both teams throw a Lopes versus Eberhardt matchup, which would be exciting for a first round to see. All right, let's move on to our next game. Game number 8, third one in this slate. We have the Chicago Bats and the Whiskey Ducks. So this will
Ooh.
be an interesting matchup too. They've never played each other. Both these teams have never had any crossover. So, Jason Rendon leading the Whiskey Ducks. There's some familiar names on that Whiskey Ducks team that have been around for that franchise for a while. The Chicago Bats have to make a run. They want to get points. They want to get as many points as possible. Yes, they might have to save some arms, but they got to get to the dance like we've been saying for all these teams that are trying to get in. You just got to get there to see what happens. I could see them going to Justin Hall real early here and trying to get this win over the Whiskey Ducks. But Whiskey Ducks are home field advantage, Tommy. Talk about this matchup.
I think it's a perfect first matchup for the Bats and the Whiskey Ducks. It kind of see where the Whiskey Ducks are after US. They had a little bit of a rough US, but we know that they have a capability of playing well. So I'm excited that. And then the Bats, I think is a good one to start with. Last time they started with the Swaros first game of the day, and that was a tough one to have. And so I think this is exciting for them to kind of get just a good start to see where both these teams are at for the tournament.
Very good. All right. Let's move on to our next matchup. And we actually have we have two more games in this matchup, but we actually have this next one coming up. On the Rise is back again already. So, we have two teams that still haven't been
Ooh.
called out yet, but On the Rise is there, and they're facing off against one of those, The Process. So this is
Ooh.
another fun matchup, and already On the Rise with two tough games to start their tournament. And this is a team that, if they make it to the dance, if they make it to that playoffs in Texas, they had a good chance of making it to playoffs overall. So On the Rise really wanting to make a statement here, and they're going to have to do it in a big way against first the Scorpions, and then they're going against the Process C4 Connection. Talk to me about this one.
This is just you have the veterans who have done it before, have the clutch hitting, have the ability, versus young guns with some veterans with Lopes, and I
Yeah.
believe Brigio, and so it's going to be a good matchup. Some of these guys know each other really well. Some of these guys never faced each other, so I'm really excited to see this game, and of course, just more great wiffle ball. So I'm excited to see who On the Rise pitches against the Process because Lopes is a known. They know Lopes. The
Yeah.
Process know Lopes, so I'm interested to see who they go with. I could see Kale getting in that game.
Yeah, I agree. I think this could be an early entrance for Kale Foreman, especially when, like you said, the Process guys are familiar with Lopes, Brigio, and Rob Donahue from the On the Rise roster. But On the Rise is going to have to hit. They're going to have to come out because the Process can hit, right? They're going to
Yes.
be coming out swinging. And while there's some questions about pitching depth, obviously you can have Ty and Kevin Norris go the distance if need be. But with this team hitting on all cylinders, On the Rise is going to come out maybe firing with a Kale Foreman, like you said. Exciting matchup again. All right, that brings us to the next one, the final one in this slate, and it is the final remaining challenger team that we see, NWC. This is the most unknown wiffle ball team in this 18-team field so far, and they will be facing off against the Boston Harbor Hawks. So
Ooh.
right now, Boston having San Diego Orcas at the bottom of the standings, and a team that's nobody has heard of in NWC. This is a good start for Boston Harbor Hawks, on paper, right? We have no idea. For NWC, you have Marshall Jensen, Nathan Powell, Crew Richter, and Brad Euler. But again, we don't know those names. They might be able to come in, throw hard, and then take Boston out of the game. But what's Boston's strategy going to go into this, knowing that they have two games that they might not need Dalby?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm excited to see. I know there's been some other talented teams I've been seeing through Instagram about in Texas, so I'm excited to see if this team is just one of these teams that are underrated that can pull out an arm that we don't know about, and to go against someone like Randy Dalby, who's been playing for even before I was born. Sorry, Randy, but you've been playing for a long time, so it's going to be a good game. I'm interested to see how NWC comes out against a team like the Harbor Hawks, who has a lot of veteran hitting.
Absolutely. And that is the end of the first two slates, Tommy. I know
Oh
that you may
man.
not have, I don't know if you've been writing them down, you may not have all of them in front of you, and that's okay. But just from your knowledge, do you remember any matchups from these first two that you're like, yeah, that's the one that I'm going to be watching out for in these first two slates? What's your
Oh
thoughts?
yeah, I think On the Rise Scorpions, because just Scorpions are looking for some wins after the last couple tournaments not playing to where they felt their standard was. So I think I like that match, especially because On the Rise. I've been texting with Lopes a little bit.
Yeah.
They're coming out to win. They're coming out to compete. They want that Fanatics money. They want to come out and show that they are some talent that BLW doesn't have, and that they want to go out to that playoff opportunity that BLW is offering. So I can see that as a great matchup. And then for two challenger teams, the meets in Vegas, I think it's going to be a big one because those are teams that know each other, and so I'm excited to see. And of course, the Natural Scorpions is a fun one, but I think the
Or
not
natural Saguaros.
Naturals and Saguaros, that's just gonna be a fun one though. But my two big games that are the meets Vegas, On the Rise, and Scorpions are the two
I think
matchups I can see.
I think you said it perfectly, Tommy. I don't even need to add to any of that. Those are the three games that I would say the same exact thing. And there are games in this that are going to be really important for teams. I think that Harbor Hawks Orcas first round matchup is going to be really huge for both
Yeah.
those teams and could set either of those teams that are looking for a playoff spot on the right track or the wrong side of things to early on in that
Oh
first match.
yeah.
So yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of great matchups coming up here. Those first two slates are loaded with things that all of the fans are going to be able to watch some great, important wiffle ball games as we head into it. All right, let's head to slate number 3, and we have game number 11, and the Scorpions are back at it, and this is a big one. The Las Vegas Scorpions versus the Dallas Pandas, Tommy. I mean, Dallas Pandas are holding on to that one of those last playoff spots, and the Scorpions also at 11 points. You know they want to go for it. The Scorpions have a lot more pitching depth than the Pandas, but is this one where Brody's going to have to go for? What do you think?
It's tough. Like the Scorpions know the Pandas' other pitcher, which is Jackson. So this might have to be a Brody game. And these two teams have faced each other in the past in different tournaments. So I'm really excited about this matchup. I think this one actually might have to be a head turner. Everyone take a glance at once in a while because you're going to see some young, talented players going against each other in a big rivalry that's been going on since like 2022. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this.
Both these teams obviously currently in the playoffs as it sits, but they're at the bottom 3 of those different spots. So they are 4 through 6 there. They're right on the cusp of being one of those bubble teams possibly, and they have to hold on to that spot. So very, very important game as we start off slate 3. All right, let's keep going. Next matchup for the San Diego Orcas is going to be the Meats. So now San Diego Orcas, obviously that Harbor Hawks games becomes really important now, Tommy, because you're facing off against a veteran Meats team who has had a ton of success in a lot of wiffle ball games. So talk about the Orcas and the Meats and what do the Orcas need to do to get over that hump and chomp on some carnivorous meat.
And I thought it was perfect. And I think it's their offense because Meats, I wouldn't be shocked if they threw Jimmy Cole. I know Jimmy Cole still got some darts in the arm, and I know he can still throw some nasty pitches. So I wouldn't be shocked if they throw Jimmy Cole to save the game. So it's can the Orcas match the Meats hitting? And I wouldn't be shocked if the Orcas go Brett Kalady back-to-back games and see what they can do because I know this is a big one for them too. They need to go on a huge run to even have a chance for playoffs. So this is going to be a big game. And are they going to be able to stop the Meats offense, or are they going to be able to compete with the Meats offense?
And obviously we don't know what the third matchup has in store for the Orcas, but as we've said, the Orcas have to get to the playoffs and they have to make a deep run. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like they have to get there. So if Brett Kalady needs to go early and then they see what they have once they get there, you got to do it. So this may be where Brett just goes until his arm falls off, and then we see what happens after that for the pitching depth that they have. But Orcas Meats will be a good one at 11 a.m. as well. Leads us to the third game in this slate, which brings back the Buffaloes. I think it's Buffaloes.
Oh,
Like,
Buffaloes?
Buffalo!
Okay.
Like they're yelling because that's an inside joke for them about playing Buffalo in the at UF. So it might be Buffaloes, but it could be Buffaloes too. I don't know. And they'll be facing off against the Arizona Swarros. So this is a game for the Swarros. They came off the Naturals game. Saguaros could have a little bit of fun. You know they're not going to. They're not going to take any breaks. They're going to keep their foot on the gas. They've already clinched, sure, but they want to go for that win. They want to stop the Naturals and be that first one that stops them too. And the Buffaloes are looking for a chance at the playoffs. Talk about these guys.
I think this is going to be a big one for the Buffaloes. They got to beat the Saguaros, who are on fire every tournament. So I'm excited to see how Pat's hitting, how Colin Wilkerson's hitting, Quinn Myers, some of these guys who are my friends, to see what they do against this team. And I think this is going to be one of the most positive matchups we'll see. Both sides, I think, are just going to be all smiles and having fun. So this is going to be just a fun little, you'll see some smiles on people's faces. And I think that's kind of the mindset that the Swirls and the Naturals are having. All fun. It's all fun this tournament. Let's just get to go enjoy this trip to Texas.
Yeah, and the Buffaloes obviously starting off with a bang, two top six teams already. So they might be throwing, a Colin Wilkerson, Pat Ballman early just to see what they can do and kind of throw the teams off their tail because they want to make it. They're traveling all this way to Texas. They want to make it to that playoffs and prove a statement. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide. All right, next game in the slate. We just talked about the Saguaro, so let's now bring up the Naturals, and this is another tough one for the Naturals. It's the Naturals and the Punishment team. So now you're getting Lopes and Briggio and Rob Donahue again against Vin Lee and Jordan Robles. So you
This is
have,
this is this is the Ben Doolin
oh,
and Caleb
excuse me,
Jeter.
you're right. Yep, my fault.
Yeah.
But even so, Caleb Jeter, Ben Doolin, you're going to bring in these guys from Punishment, and they're going against guys that they've played in Maw before. Talk about this one, Naturals versus Punishment.
Yeah, and and this is gonna be are the like after that first game with the Punishment, how our game goes. I'm like, this is how to see you have Jason Richardson, Turnage, Ben Doolin. You just got you just have. I'm interested to see how the Punishment come out with this because the Naturals are on fire. So will they be able to put out that flame, or the Naturals just even when they look like they're down are just gonna figure out how to win a game and take over? So I wouldn't be shocked to see Ben Doolin throwing this game for them after depending on how their first game goes.
And honestly, with 18 teams, Tommy, it's pretty important that you win two games.
Yes.
We had the O-Bombers make it in the last playoffs, tying all three games because James Lee tied all three for the
Yeah.
O-Bombers team. Now, it I feel like if there's a team that ties all three or even goes a 1-1-1, it may not be enough because there might be enough teams here that do go 2-1 or 3-0, and you need two wins. For the Naturals, this is their toughest probably pool play schedule so far. They have the Saguaros, they
Mm.
have Punishment, two experienced teams that they've played against. Sure, they've had some experience against, but they're going to have to come out firing early if they want to continue that prowess that they've had throughout the league so far. So definitely a fun one for this slate and an interesting one we're going to talk about. All right, let's close out the 11 a.m. time slot with the next game, which is the Las Vegas Whifflers versus your
Oh
Miami
no, I
Mirage.
knew it. Oh man, I
There you do it.
knew it.
All right.
Oh,
This is back-to-back tough games for Miami, and it's going to have to be you're coming out firing on all cylinders. Tommy, talk to us about this game.
it's just tough. Like two, just two great challenger teams back to back, and so it's just. And this is what I want to bring up. It's with only with being 18 teams, it's offense putting up runs. Who's going to have that good
Yeah.
offense that day to put up that runs to maybe affect the run differential or runs allowed? So it's going to be a tough matchup, but it's going to be a fun one. I played Vegas was my first ever fast pitch game back in 2023, so it's going to be fun to face them in this opportunity, and of course to see the amazing guys of the Wifflers. Those are really good friends of mine, and they've been a big part of my wiffle ball journey. So I'm excited to play against them.
Well, and you were talking about James Lee, California guy, James Lee now going, you and James Lee going at it. So
Yeah,
I feel like this
not
is going to be
again.
an exciting matchup. And I will tell you, Las Vegas Wifflers notorious for not deploying Bonet early, right? They want to save Bonet.
Yeah,
So do they go with James Lee now that they have him here? Do they go with Tripsa still as, he kind of handles pool play a lot for them. So it's going to be really interesting to see what strategy they take, especially getting a Meats team and then a Mirage team who are going to give the Las Vegas Wifflers a tough first two matchups. So very exciting to see how these strategies will play out, but we will never be able to tell until we get to the fields. All right, let's get to our noon time slot. And at noon, we get started with the New York Green Apples versus the Chicago Bats. So, talk about this one, Tommy. Chicago Bats came off of a Whiskey Ducks matchup, and now they're at a New York Green Apples matchup. So, maybe could have elevated for them, but talk about the Bats schedule so far and how they might be able to get over the hump. This is a rematch from Chicago where the Bats took the Green Apples, took them away.
that's what I was about to bring up. It's a rematch. The last time the Bats got the two to make the playoffs and make a good run in the to make them a higher seed in the playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if your Green Apples come out with vengeance like they did this past tournament. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Flackney or you or someone just excited with a smile on their face after a homer, or to see maybe Keaton Kimmel or Bryson Livingston, those bats that haven't fully shown up yet, maybe getting their first big hits in the in this tournament, showing that they have some skill that people haven't gotten to see yet.
And the bats have to be really, it's a really interesting how they're going to handle their pitching strategy, right?
Yeah.
They have Kimmel, they have Justin Hall, they have Bryson Livingston, who have all performed pretty well in different spots for them. Justin Hall pitched against the New York Green Apples and got the win. So like if they go with Hall again, they might not go with Hall again, knowing that the Green, or do they ride his success? So it's going to be interesting to see how the bats handle not only a Whiskey Ducks team that they need that first win, knowing that they have the Green Apples right behind them, who, like you said, will be out for vengeance for this game coming up because the bats do have the tiebreaker over the Green Apples right now. So there you go.
Mm.
All right. And then that brings us to the second noon game in the slate, and it is the Philly Wiffle Club versus the unknown NWC team. Good matchup for Philly,
Ooh.
right? You got to
Yeah.
believe they have the experience factor over NWC. We don't know. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but Philly, after getting the New York Green Apples in the first one, they're going to like this second matchup here for NWC and hopefully can get over the hump there.
Yeah, this is going to be it's all depending on how we see NWC their first slate or their first set of games to kind
Yeah.
of see how they'll play in this one. So, well, this is still a mystery to me. I still don't know how I can see this game playing out.
I agree. It's going to be interesting to see. Like we always talk about the pitching strategy, but now Philadelphia Wiffle Club, do they know that this game's in the back of their mind? Maybe they don't go Josh Wheeler early now, right? Because they know
Yeah,
they have to make a run. So now they're like, oh no, like, okay, this is our second game. If they were reversed, I feel like they'd be so much happier, right? If they had NWC first and then the Green Apples, I feel like they would know kind of what they need to
yeah,
do. But now it's kind of turning into a mind meld, right? They're trying to figure out what can
yeah.
we do with our strategy to keep our top pitchers the length of this tournament. So we'll see. All right, let's go to the next 12 o'clock game. We have the Whiskey Ducks versus Process. So two challenger teams going at it here. Whiskey
Oh,
Ducks home field advantage, Process coming from the East Coast. So challenger teams going both fighting for a hopeful playoff spot. They both have to make somewhat of a deep run. I think it's going to have to take a new team to get to the semifinals to probably propel them over a possible on the rise or meets if they just kind of limp into the tournament. So we'll see what happens. What do you think?
I am excited to see. I'm just excited to see these two teams, like especially the process because there's a combo team of C4 and the process. I would love to see a Rob Landrew bomb. I don't know if it's gonna be this game. I don't know if it's gonna be the first game or all three games. I love Rob Landrew. I'm a big fan. He's Mr. Clutch. So I'd love to see a big bomb from Rob Landrew at some point, maybe this game. But I'd also love to see the competitiveness of the Whiskey Ducks and that they've come out a couple times in past tournaments firing. So I would love to see what this matchup looked like. And I think the same thing as before. Both teams, we don't know how they're going to play out. It's a new style team for the process. I haven't really seen the Whiskey Ducks play, so I'm excited to see what this matchup will bring by the game two of how they're coming out to play.
Absolutely. Very excited for this one too. Rob Longeroux, it just proves how the stars are out in Dallas, right? We talked about how the stars are out in LA, but all of a sudden you're getting a lot more stars coming to Dallas.
Oh
So
yeah,
you're going to hear Rob Longeroux talking, throughout the time. You're going to hear Ty Wiggerson. He's going to be doing his growl yell that he
yes.
always loves to do. So
Ooh,
when something good is
very good.
happening for the Process C4 mashup. All right, let's go on to the next noon. Excuse me, drop my pen. For noon, we have the next one. It is the Dallas Pandas versus the Boston Harbor Hawks. Again, we are finding two top
Ooh,
six teams. They're in the playoffs currently fighting. This may be one of the most important games that we've all seen the entire slate so far.
wow. I This is gonna be. I don't even know how to like fully grasp this one. This one's gonna be. Everyone needs to watch and see this game, especially if like let's say they're both 1-1 or the Harbor Hawks are 2-0 and the Pandas are 1-1. I'm This is going to be a fight, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if the Harbor Hawks need a win. You'll see Randy DeHalby out there throwing early.
This is such an interesting matchup. This game, honestly, it could decide who makes a playoff spot. Like it really could.
Yeah,
This
it
this
really
so
could.
late in the tournament for both of them, and I feel like this is one of the more pivotal games for both these franchises. Not just these franchises, but the franchises below and above them. they could honestly be, it could have one of the more biggest implications that we've seen so far in any of these games, just from a pure pro playoff standings mentality. Pandas, Harbor Hawks at noon. Don't miss it, folks. All right, let's close out the noon slate. It's two challenger teams and just another just daunting task. All these challenger teams are so good. So you could say that about any of these challenger teams side by side. It's the meets versus on the rise, Tommy. On the
Oh,
on the rise, in my opinion, so far, just got possibly the hardest schedule we've ever seen from any tournament. And two of them are challenger teams. So they're facing off against the Scorpions, Process, and the Meats now. So this is going to be a tall order for On the Rise. Talk about this matchup for Meats on the Rise.
yeah, it's another one too where like the meets know Lopes. They know Bridger, they know Donahue. Like it's like who do the on the rise go with? I wouldn't be surprised if Lopes says, "Hey, with our schedule, give me the ball. I will help us out and get us there." Because Lopes is coming off a beautiful pitching performances out in US and showing that he's one of the top arms in wiffle ball. So I wouldn't be surprised in this game. And then the meets, are they gonna go Kayvon? Will they need Kayvon at this point? Is Kayvon gonna throw clean or cut? Like I don't know. It's there's so many question marks with this game, and it's just an exciting matchup. Another exciting matchup with especially for on the rise, and all need to watch games for them.
Yeah, and this could be one of those things where, like you said in the last matchup, Meats and On the Rise both 1-1 right now, or one of them could be 0-2, one of them could be 2-0, could be playing for pride, could be playing for a 3-0 spot. Who knows? Like this is their last matchup, and it's a tough one. There is no off day for On the Rise, no off spot that they have to go hard every single game to possibly get that playoff spot as a challenger team. All right. Done with the noon slate, done with the 11 slate. Those were two slates in a row, Tommy. So let's talk about it. Are there any matchups? Is it the Meats on the Rise? Is it that Dallas Pandas Harbor Hawks game? Those are the last two we said. Are there any more that maybe jump out to you in these past two slates we've talked about?
I think a big one is gonna be. I actually am gonna call out my own team, like ours versus Vegas, because that
Yeah,
might be a big game.
yeah.
Like I, who is gonna like? I'm trying to process in my head while we're doing this. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, what do I do? But I'm just excited to see how our team comes out. I really think that on the rise meets game is going to be a huge implication. And then I really think that last one is the Pandas and Harbor
Yeah,
Hawks game
yeah,
because
I
that one
agree.
is just because super close. They're both at the end of the playoffs. This might be. I have a feeling this might be a 1-1, 1-1. Winner gets to go to bracket play. Loser has to be praying that they're still in the playoffs by the
Yeah.
end of it.
And Pandas, in my opinion, this is the same slate. This is 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock back to back for them that they have to face off
Yeah.
against the Scorpions and then the Harbor Hawks. So this is arguably the Pandas have the most important schedule in this current slate we're talking about, having back to back games against two teams that are in the playoffs also with them currently as it sits. So what a slate for them it's going to be. And you're going to have to watch and see what their pitching strategy is
So
also. So
good.
all right, we only have two more slates left, and the second slate only has two games in it at the 2 p.m. slot. So let's go through 1 o'clock, go through 2 o'clock, and we'll talk about everything after that. Starting this 1 o'clock matchup, the Scorpions' last game is against the Orcas. The Orcas' last game against the Scorpions. You got the Orca Scorpions coming at it. That means the Scorpions, yeah, excuse me, the Orcas with another very tough schedule too, having the Harbor Hawks meets and the Las Vegas Scorpions. Not what they wanted to see, Tommy, heading into this draw, probably.
No, definitely not. But I will say they are playing well. They have some arm depth. Brian showed in Chicago that he is capable of throwing a game for them at a good at very quality pitching. You have Joaquin. So I wouldn't be surprised though if Brett just goes, hand me the ball, y'all hit, I'll put some bats in because I know Brett's been texting me a little bit that he's trying to get his arm back up to throwing this many games again. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out six pack ready to go like Lede and is just like, give me the ball. I'm going to show you what my doctorate in physical therapy has done for my arm and goes out and throws three straight games and shows why Slaughterhouse made it super far in US this past year.
And on the Scorpion side of things, with their matchups of On the Rise Dallas and Orcas, honestly, Tommy, it would not surprise me whatever their record is after pool play. They could go 3-0, 2-1, 1-2. They could go 0-3. They could go 1-1-1. They could go 0 0-3. I mean, they have such an interesting schedule. It's going to come down to pitching matchups. It's going to come down to their offense getting hot, which they have a fantastic offense, but I could see them being any sort of record after pool play for sure.
And I'm excited to see Dustin Staggs. The Dustin Staggs has been on fire this year. One of the most underrated hitters, not really talked about very much, but has been one of the top, I would say top 5, top 10 hitters in all of BLW. And I'm excited to see how his tournament goes. And who's going to back him up? Is Jackson Pearson going to come out? I'm excited to see what the Scorpions offense does with all 3 matchups they have.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to the next 1 o'clock game. We have Punishment for their final game versus the Arizona Saguaros. So Arizona and Punishment, again, tough matchup, Tommy. We keep saying the same things, but I mean, every matchup, this whole entire tournament is going to be tough for every team. Let's talk about Punishment and the Saguaros. A lot of Texas guys in this one with the Marshalls.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I think this one's going to be another fun one where you just see. I'm interested to see who's going to pitch. Or
does Coop take the ball going against Texas? He wants to pride of Texas.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good question. Will Coop take the ball? Is one of the Punishment guys going to take the ball, or are they going to hand it to Jeter or Doolin and see what? But it all depends on how these games are for. Are the Saguaros like, screw everything else, we're winning this one. We want our win that we have been so close to. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Squirrels actually going for the Fanatics money and going like, y'all have been taking our wins and let's just go win it because they have a really good roster coming out, missing only Nick Martinez, but still having a great offense with a bigger pitching depth this time.
Absolutely. All right, the next one. You ready for it, Tommy? It is the Miami Mirage versus the Buffaloes. This is a matchup that these guys really well. Cam knows these guys really well. You've been talking about the Buffaloes the entire time, and this is your guys. This is people that you love. This is people, your friends. Like, talk about this matchup and how exciting it is, but also how important this matchup is going to be.
Oh, yeah, this one is a big one for us because of our other 2 games. Like, we don't know where we're going to be at. And knowing my team and my boys, shout out my team, we're going to be able to put ourselves in a spot to make playoffs. So we'll see. I think the big question is who's pitching this game on both sides. So I don't know. Will you see me get out the wing and go throw a little bit against these guys? The Buffaloes haven't seen me very much before. Or will we go with the veteran Cam Smith, or even we have a Jeremy Adams, and we even have an unknown pitcher of Jackson Albers who can go out and still give us a couple really solid innings. And so I'm really excited to see what all this implication is and to see how that knee's looking with Pat Ballman. I'm excited to see the knee. Is there going to be a big scar, or is he going to just hit a bunch of bombs? I'm excited to see this.
Well, hopefully he is up to the pitching depth for his team. He's going to need it because I feel like their trio of games is very tough. So I feel like you're going to have to go Ballman and Wilkerson early, and there's no way around it. The reasoning's going to have to be there for the Buffaloes to make the playoffs. They're going to have to go early to their guys. So it'll be another interesting one, and your final one of your tournament for pool play as well. Let's go to the next 1 o'clock game. It is the Chicago Bats back at it again against the Los Angeles Naturals. So the Bats, tough schedule for them. The first 2 are very important. Naturals, also interesting schedule. They had really 2 tough first round games. And then going into the Bats game, I think this team's played each other before. And maybe I'm mistaken there, but talk about this Naturals Bats team's going to go at it here.
No, you're absolutely right, Sam. They played back in Arizona where Jordan no-hit them. And so with the Bats getting more reps as they've gotten better, I would love to see them come out a little more competitive and see what they can do against this Naturals team. Like you said, tough draw. I have a question mark on the Bats and how they're going to come out because I can see Justin Hall or Bryce. I can see Bryson Livingston come out, but that Naturals team is just so good. They have such a good lineup. So it's going to be tough, but I would love to see them compete and get a better score. They lost 6-0 last time, so I'd love to see a competitive game against them, against this Naturals team.
All right, let's keep going. Let's finish up the 1 o'clock games here. 1 o'clock games, we have NWC. That'll be their final game against the Las Vegas Whifflers. So Las Vegas having the Meats and the Mirage to start off theirs. They're getting, it's almost like they got the high challenger team. Then you got a team fighting for a playoff spot, and then you have an unknown challenger team. So the Las Vegas Whifflers have an interesting pool play matchup there. You got to believe they're going to like this one, though, because there's so much experience from the Las Vegas Whifflers. And from what they know, not a lot of experience from NWC.
Hey, I can't wait for a possible Javen Tresca showing on the mound. You showing off those nasty pitches. So I'm excited because I know that might be a possibility. But they added James Lee. So this I don't like I really like this is the first time where you can clearly say that Vegas has three pitchers since
Yeah.
they had Toki last year, because Toki was the arm they had. So I would love to see a Jay Ventresca pitching matchup right here
Yeah,
and
love
see
it.
some
Let's
nasty golden stick pitching.
go deep in the bag for your number 4 pitcher there. Absolutely. All right, that'll be it for the 1 o'clock games. We have 2 games at 2, Tommy. 2 games at
All
2.
right.
And the first one is the New York Green Apples. They will finish off theirs
Ooh.
against the Process. So the C4 Process team. Not too much, I'm sure the CCW, the Skull Crushers, maybe have faced off against some of the C4 guys, maybe some of the, Rob Longeroux teams in the past, but might not be a lot of familiarity. This is a very much a East Coast cut ball style versus a Midwest clean ball style, and it's kind of like the top echelon people from both, right? I mean, this is C4, the team that won UIF, against the Skull Crushers, the team that won NWA, kind of going at it head to head here. Interesting matchup to end the pool play for them.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great matchup. I think this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a hitter's game. Like, this is the third game of the day. Like, we don't like, and I just know you have Norris, Landrew, Dennis, and also
Ty.
who's a
Ty
oh, and
Weggers.
Ty. How
Yep.
do I forget Ty? I'm so sorry, Ty. That is a four-man wrecking crew. And
Yeah.
then so do the Green Apples. The Green Apples have a wrecking crew of their own that are the Midwestern hitters. And so I think this is going to be a fun game. I'd love to see a couple nice bat flips and a nice couple screams out of this game. But luckily, this is one of the last games, so I can just sit back and watch with some popcorn and watch this game.
That's true, unless there's some carryover from other games, or other games might be going long, but there's only 2 in this one. And the last final matchup of the pool play is the Whiskey Ducks and finishing up the Philadelphia Wiffle Club. So Philly Wiffle
Oh,
Club, after starting with the New York Green Apples, Philly Wiffle Club now have NWC, an inexperienced challenger team, and then the home challenger team in the Whiskey Ducks. So interesting for Philadelphia Wiffle Club. Talk about them, how they need to make a deep run. And does this change the mindset of the New York Green Apples pitching, right? Because now they're like, oh,
yes.
now maybe we use our depth to our advantage. We know we have to make a deep run. Maybe we, figure out something else in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, I think for Philadelphia, this is a challenge. I'm going to challenge their pitching rotation. I'm going to challenge Caden Rice, Chandler Melton, and Dom Centrowski, who Dom threw that shutout against Natural in the first tournament. I'm going to challenge them and go, hey, save Spencer, save Josh, go out and shove, go out and help your boys so that you can save those arms, because you guys still have a chance to make a run. So
Yeah.
give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance to have a chance. And that's a quote I love from baseball and softball. Give yourself a chance to have a chance. Step up and be like, hey, I will take this NWC game to save Josh and Spence. Hey, I will take this game. Who are they facing? The
Whiskey
We
Ducks.
just said Whiskey Ducks. My bad. Like, I want to see Caden Rice. I saw him perform really well at the MOAF tournament and also at UIFs, and go, hey, I'll take this ball right now and go shove. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to see who will step up on the
It's
mound.
it's one them and the Orcas are in a very strange position, right? They know they have to make playoffs, but they also know even if they make playoffs, they have to make a deep run. Making playoffs will not be enough. They have to
Mhm.
keep going. So it puts their pitching strategy in such a weird position that no other team will have to experience probably. So for these 2 teams, the Orcas and Philly, it's one of those mind things that everybody else is going to be watching how you're kind of playing this out. So very excited to see what they decide. Real quick, Tommy, then we'll get wrapped up here for everything else. Talk about any of the games at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock that you see as one of the more important games of this slate.
Yeah, and I think that Green Apples and Process game is going to be good, because I think it's going to see the scheduling of like these two teams. I think I see the Process being 1-1, needing that win against the Green Apples, or even the Green Apples might needing this win. So I can see that being a
Yeah,
really good game. And lastly, I think that Mirage and Buffalo's game
that'd be a fun
is
one.
going to be a big one. And the big powerhouse one is the Saguaros and the Punishment. That's going to be the big powerhouse game. But I really think the Mirage Buffalo's game, if we're both 1-1 or my team's 1-1 and something like that, we're going to have to come out balling. And I
Yeah.
think I'm excited because I know my team's been working hard. And I'm very excited to see what my teams come out. I'm coming out for that Silver Slugger, Lede. I'm
And
coming out for that.
And even if the Buffaloes, if they go 0-2 to start their tournament with a tough first two games, they might say, you know what, we're going for broke. At this point, we're playing for pride. We're throwing our ace and we're going after
Yeah.
Miami. We're going after Tommy and Cam that we know, right? So it's kind of a tough spot for Miami to be in too if they're in that, because they're either going to be fighting 1-1 to get there, or maybe an 0-2 just for pride kind of thing. So it's a tough spot for everybody to be in. This slate is absolutely insane. Tommy, really quickly, let's focus on Mirage just for a quick second because it's your team. You're here. Let's
Let's
break
lock
it
in.
down. Talk to me about your three games: Punishment, Las Vegas Whifflers, and the Buffaloes. Not maybe what you wanted or expected, but talk about the team. There's no easy game, and no matter who you would have gotten.
Honestly, if I would have prayed to God and said what 3 games I would want, God would have been like, "Hi, you might want the easy schedule, but we're going to give you the 3 teams that we want you to face that we feel is the best for you on Saturday." And I think Punishment is something we actually have been asking for. I kind of want to see Raiden versus Jeter. I want to see that matchup, some West Coast versus East Coast action. And I think the Vegas is going to be a good one. If we can go into Vegas 1-0 by the grace of God and by the love of God, we can go into that 1-0. That would be a good game just to get some reps off of, get just a little bit of stretching going and getting our swings going. And I think that Buffalo's one is going to be the big one for us at the end. Because if we're 1-1 going to that matchup, or if we're 2-0 by the grace of God, it's like, how can we? Because we need
All
2 wins.
hands on deck.
No 1-1-1s. We need these 2 wins. We need to, and we need to put up some runs and compete at a
Yeah,
high level. So I'm
yeah.
actually I'm very excited for my team because they're hungry and they're ready to go. Shout out Gabe, shout out Braden, shout out Cam, shout out Jackson, shout out Jeremy. We're ready to go. It's going to be great.
I'm going to go through some just in my mind here, some tough strength of schedules, and I'm sure that the graphic will be released about the strength of schedules for everybody. In my mind, from a pro perspective, I got to think that the Orcas and the Chicago Bats have the hardest ones. The Orcas, Harbor Hawks, Meats, and the Las Vegas Scorpions, and then the Chicago Bats coming in with Whiskey Ducks, the Green Apples, and the Naturals. Green Apples and Naturals just coming off of finals appearances in LA. Both are riding hot. Tough for Chicago to have those. From the challenger side, On the Rise might have the toughest out of
Yeah,
anybody. I mean,
that
Las Vegas Scorpions, Process, and Meats. I mean, they are a challenger team. And I guess for On the Rise, they want to rise to the occasion, probably, as Process and Meats are two teams that want to get into the playoffs. And if On the Rise beats both of them, they might punch their ticket to playoffs. So On the Rise, this might actually be good for them, right, Tommy?
yes, I think this is one for on the rise where with these young guys, like, hey, you're new to this realm, you want to be getting to play the best, you get the best. And I'm excited to see the offense. Last tournament on the rise went hitless, but with this new roster, I think this might be an opportunity for them. And it also for Kale and Connor to learn from the veterans that are on this team. So it's maybe not the one they're hoping for, but I think they're the team to step up and do well in that schedule.
Yeah. For me, the slate to watch for the entire tournament, Tommy, has to be, from a standings perspective, has to be the
Yeah.
noon matchups. Dallas and Boston facing off, right? We talked about that game, their last pool play game, along with the Meats facing off against On the Rise. We just talked about On the Rise too. That could possibly decide one of those final challenger spots. The beauty of this tournament, though, is not one pro team is actually out of a playoff chance. Out of all the teams that are currently out of the playoffs, the one with possibly the easiest beginning schedule we talked about was Philly, and they're in the 10th spot of the standings. So the fact that they might have, quote unquote, the easiest road in pool play to get there, their toughest matchup, unfortunately, comes again in their first one. So that's where that pitching strategy talks in that we wanted to recap with you, too. Even if they can force a tie in that first game, then go after 2 wins the rest of the way, it puts them in a great position for a higher seed. And then after that, who knows? Are you excited to see how everything's going to play out this weekend, Tommy?
I am so excited. I can't wait to go line dancing, diddling going down in Texas. and getting to have some good old Western standoffs against all these teams. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
Absolutely.
blissful. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a little cold, I see.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
bring some sweatpants, guys. When I'm hoping my team's playing by 8 p.m. or 6 p.m., whatever that last game is. So I'm bringing cold clothes ready to play until the very end with my boys, and they have my back and I have their back. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for us folks here with BLW. The Lone Star Showdown is coming at you this weekend as Whifflers will descend upon the great state of Texas at Rough Riders Field in Frisco for what is to be the most important tournament of the season for most of these franchises. Nobody knows how it will all shake out on the field, but one thing is for sure, every team is going to leave it all on the field in Texas because like the Alamo, Tommy, this is the last stand. Will anyone be able to stop the Naturals from a regular season sweep? And will your favorite BLW franchise be playing at the end of March? Find out and buy your tickets to the event today. For Tommy Hernandez, Commissioner Logan Rose, I'm Sam Skibby on behalf of Big League Wiffle Ball. Thank you for joining us tonight, and good luck to all the teams headed down south to the land of Jerry World. Tommy, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sam.